All right, guys, happy weekend. Happy Saturday. Got an exciting one here for you. We are talking about first round busts, players to potentially avoid this season. Now, we're talking about credibility as well when I give you this advice. Now, obviously, you guys know I'm the biggest influencer in the game. Been at this hard since 2015. But last year, let that be a testimony for my first round on players to avoid. Cooper Kupp, Austin Ekeler, Tony Pollard, to name a few, right? Devontae Adams, I believe, as well. Even second rounder guys I told you to avoid. T. Higgins. Remember, everyone was telling you T. Higgins round 2, right? And there's so many players we dodged and avoided last year, and you guys were able to have a great season. Now, mind you, we're never 100% perfect. It's fantasy football. My biggest flaw last year was Dameon Pierce. Round 4 value, absolutely busted. Was in a position to succeed. Who would have thought Devin Singletary would have came in? But you know what? Hindsight, right? But one thing we want to do and avoid is the potential pitfalls of drafting a guy in the first round that's going to bust. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull up. We're actually going to pull up all of the Kid Sheep's top 10 picks now, and we're just going to go through them. We're just going to kind of go through every position, talk about it, who they've got on top. Obviously, it's a copy and paste. Now, if you are new to the channel, a lot of people, 70%, look at the analytics, are not subscribed that are watching this video. So you come across this video, you haven't subscribed, this is the truth. So make sure you guys do smash thumbs up. This is outside of the box thinking. Everybody else is lying to you. I will tell you right now, I've watched the top podcasts through the years. I've watched the 4-letter networks. All they're doing is taking, for the majority, 90% of what they're doing is taking last year's top finish and telling you to draft them in that order. And if you don't believe me, I've got a trusty magazine right here, guys. And I got proof because Austin Ekeler was a top running back last year. I got him right here, guys. Right here, number 1, Austin Ekeler. He's listed. Now, this camera doesn't focus very well. It's right there, Austin Ekeler, and they got Tony Pollard, I believe, right here. Okay, so listen, these guys don't care about your teams. They don't want you to win. They just want to play it safe, save their butts, right, and not tell you the truth. Okay, so we're gonna go through it, guys. We're gonna go through the rankings right now. I'm gonna pull it up, but before I do, I got some big news. We're actually launching a fantasy football summit. It's gonna feature NFL players. Tajay Spears is already booked. Just head down below to the 16-round draft solution link. You can combo the solution, which gives you all the optimal players drafted each round. Forget the rankings. Rankings won't help you. You get all the optimal players, all principal cheat sheet. It's as easy to use as anything. The answers are there. I'm handing you the championship on a silver platter. You can pre-order it right now and combo it. Is a combo option if you scroll down. Once you click on 16 rounds, I've linked it below, and I pinned the comment as well. You get the summit package, the fantasy sports summit. We're going to give you live fantasy football analysis. You're automatically entered for a PS5. NFL players, you can interact, ask them questions in the chat there. It's going to be amazing, guys. It's going to be an awesome experience. Fantasy Sports Summit's a virtual conference in August, 3rd week of August, all right? So secure your tickets below. Get 16 rounds. You can pre-order it right now. Amazing, okay? All right, let's talk about this, guys. Let's go through. And I pull up the rankings here. Now, I've got the running backs pulled up. Let's go to the overall rankings. Now, I want you guys to notice something. I want to take a look at this with you. CeeDee Lamb, okay? I looked at his stats. It's a constant incline, okay? A constant incline. Now, these are the consensus Sheep's rankings. You don't want to be drafting based on this, but if you're in a league, wherever league you're in, whether you're drafting on whatever platform, it's going to be drafting based on this ADP, unfortunately, which actually is a good thing because when you get 16 rounds, you get to hack this. It's like a cheat code to figure out who the optimal players are to draft in each round. But I want to talk about guys that could potentially fall off. That's the focus of today's show. I want to talk about guys that could potentially fall off, okay? Now, CeeDee Lamb, if you look at him, great year last year. It's been if you look at his stats over the years, constant incline, right? Justin Jefferson had his down year last year. You could make an argument that he has an up year this year. And again, this is very early conversation. I'm just having a discussion with you guys because this is going to change drastically, predicated on the free agency, all of the trades, all of the moves, and of course, most importantly, the NFL draft. Now, as of right now, Justin Jefferson does want to get paid a mega contract. He's already talked about it. He's got a huge list of wants. including being one of the highest paid wide receivers in the game. He wants to, redefine the wide receiver salary. He wants to basically set a new standard and reset it all. So, that's a big thing. And once you're paid and your belly's full, are you as hungry? Maybe for the first year, we're going to have to see. But I'm personally not going wide receiver round one. Other guys that could bust. Again, I think CeeDee Lamb potentially could bust. Again, coming off that pinnacle year. Christian McCaffrey, I honestly feel with every ounce of my being that this is the last year. You got the Super Bowl hangover. Last year, this last year was his last pinnacle year. Super Bowl hangover. That in and of itself is huge. I heard he got engaged, he's getting married or something. Not that marriage changes stuff, but I've seen athletes, once they make a transition in their personal life, such a big transition that things change. He's been paid, he's been incentivized, he's coming off a pinnacle year and a hangover, and that things change. Maybe he's not as focused. Maybe he's more focused. We don't know. But all I know is that this is too expensive for me, right? First overall running back, coming off pretty much 2 pinnacle years, which is like very rare in and of itself. So Christian McCaffrey to me is 100% fade. Well, Joe, you told me that last year. Yeah, but I also told you to avoid Eckler. I also told you to avoid Pollard. I also told you to avoid Dalvin Cook round 5. I also told you to avoid T. Higgins round 2. I also avoid you to dodge J.K. Dobbins, and on and on and on and on, right? Because I know what's up. And you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them when it comes to fantasy football. This is expensive, especially when I'm pulling up here the running back stats here. Christian McCaffrey at 1 is absolutely ludicrous when there's guys that have way more upside here. I'm looking at Breece Hall, way more upside. Byjan, more upside. Jahmyr Gibbs, mind you, I'm a little turned off there with David Montgomery there, Jonathan Taylor could do well. Kyren had a ton of upside. He didn't play the full season, but looked amazing. I like more upside of Kyren than I do Christian McCaffrey, right? Saquon maybe on a new team could be interesting. These are the top 10 running backs, but not necessarily first round. Going back to overall, out of these top 3 guys, CeeDee Lamb, Jefferson, and McCaffrey, I say Jefferson's got the highest upside here. These guys coming off pinnacle years, Lamb and McCaffrey. You got Jamar Chase, amazing talent. Obviously, I heard T. Higgins recently, if you look at NFL News, just got franchise tag. Correct me if I'm wrong. So Higgins will be back. So you kind of know, I don't think they're going to be looking at wide receiver. They got their wide receiver. Chase is the guy. And literally, there's no way but up for this guy. You're talking about a guy that was hurt last year. A little banged up through the year, sorry, but his quarterback was hurt last year. So, the talent is there. The upside is there. He's got to have a good year. He is one of those guys that's due. You got to take a look when you're drafting a guy in the first round, who is due for a boom season and who is due for a decline season, right? You got to look at fantasy and trends, right? Whenever I teach this stuff, whenever I'm talking about making picks, is that people trend up. It's kind of like when you're watching a basketball game and they go on a run, right? A team goes on a run and they're on like a 20-point run. The other team can't score. It's like a momentum thing, right? It's a momentum shift. And that's how you should be looking at all your fantasy players, right? They come off down years and they trend up. As you feel the momentum of what's going on. When you got McCaffrey, he's been on this high. I just don't like the momentum I feel is going to be coming down. I don't see him going any higher. CeeDee Lamb, been constantly up the past 4 years. So again, this is like a deep dive here because the first round is not going to break your year, but it's very important that you're investing that high draft capital in them. You want to make sure that you have somebody that's going to perform for you, a guy that's going to produce on a high level if you're investing that first round draft capital, okay? So again, it's very important you take a look and you analyze this. Jamar Chase trending upwards. A guy like Tyreek Hill, I would say, this later in his career, I don't know what season he's on, 7, 8, I have to pull it up, but, I would say there's a slight trend down. Waddle's a little trending up a little bit, but good offense is in a system that works. He's consistent. He's had his years where he's been inconsistent, missing games, where he was very volatile in a sense that he'd have big games, and then there's games he put up duds. So I'm not feeling warm and fuzzy Tyreek Hill, but I think he's as safe as he gets. Amon-Ra safe. I liked him years ago when I was getting him in the 4th round, and I saw the talent. 16 people that got 16 rounds. My draft solution were able to see him and get him for value. Now he's higher up on the Sheep's rankings. Breece Hall, I think, is probably your safest bet in a position where he had an amazing year last year. Not an amazing, like outstanding, like year, but it was a really good year. Like, but this guy could break records. The talent is there. Remember last year he was eased in, right? Because of the injury prior. And they brought in Dalvin Cook. People are hesitant, and I understand that, but I was getting him at the end of round 2, and I was like, man, this guy's better than Eckler, and he's 100% better than Eckler. He's 100% better than Pollard. Why are they ranked ahead of him? And, so anyway, so love him. I think he is one of the safer guys, I would say, in round 1, but when you're looking at busts, go back, CeeDee Lamb, I would say McCaffrey, Tyreek possibly. Amon-Ra is safe, but he's not, I think he lacks the ceiling. I think there's a lot of targets there with Jahmyr Gibbs taking a step up in the passing game, Sam Laporta taking up a step in the passing game. They got Jameson Williams who's going to take a step up in the passing game. So there's a lot of targets there that are going to take a step up in the passing game, whereas Amon-Ra is still the one, but a round 1 pick for a guy that's going to have a diluted share of targets is a bit of a concern for me, right? A.J. Brown, he just came out and said that he loves his team, looking good. We had a bit of a down year with Hurts. Is that going to trend downwards? Again, this is very early. We're just having a preliminary discussion, something that could concern me. But again, when I'm looking at these wide receivers, I see talent down here, right? I'm not going to say who, because you got to subscribe, thumbs up. I'm going to be doing sleeper episodes. I see talent lower that could easily surpass these guys, okay? Like, let me pull up last year's receivers here. I got the magazine. They had Cooper Kupp at 2, right? They had Stephon Diggs at 6, right? CeeDee Lamb was 7. So very similar with wide receivers for the most part, other than Cooper Kupp falling off. Devontae Adams fell off significantly. Where they got Adams this year? It's, they've kind of gotten off the Adams train. I think he's going to stay there with his current team. They got him at 10. They had Adams more like at 4 or 5. They had T. Higgins at 13. He's significantly dropped off. They were really high on him, right? Waddle at 11. And that's the problem, guys, I have with wide receiver 2s being drafted so high. It's ludicrous. So it seems like they've kind of adjusted accordingly. Nico Collins wasn't even a talk. Tank Dell was not even a talk. He's sitting at 24. These guys were not even talked about. Like, dude, CJ Stroud, there's some upside here. You get these guys for immense value. Grab them, right? So there's going to be value. Look at Rashee Rice. I was getting him in all my drafts. I had Tank Dell, Rashee Rice, all these guys. I even, in one league, I ended up getting Nico and Tank Dell in one league because I saw the value, okay? And we're going to find the value this year. It's very early right now. We are in February. So, again, let's go back to, these busts, right? So, when we go back to overall, CeeDee Lamb, like I said, I don't trust A.J. Brown 100%. Puka is at 11 here, and he's going to be probably coming off late round 1. If 12-person league, most likely for sure. I love the talent. But again, Cooper Kupp's there. Could they kind of gravitate a little bit more towards Cooper Kupp? That's another issue. There's going to be a lot of wide receiver committees. I'm warning you this year. Tank Dell, Nico Collins. Like, who's the one? Waddle and Hill. Hill's the one, but can Waddle step it up a little bit more this year, right? You've got, who did I talk about here? I think Jameson Williams becomes more of a factor. I still think Amon-Ra is the guy. You got all these different scenarios where, there's Puka and Kupp, where there's going to be a bit of a wide receiver committee where they're kind of fighting for that role. And my advice is, man, get the value later. Roll the dice on a guy who could be the one later than investing in some of these guys early when you should be securing the absolute most scarce position, which is the running back, discussion here. Now, a lot of people are asking me, should you still be going running robust RB? That's something that I've always prided myself on because running back position is the most scarce position. The answer is you should be aware of the running backs and get them early. Yes, round 1. There's only a handful of running backs in round 1 that are viable. Bijan and Breece Hall are pretty much the guys in no committees. And you can say Christian McCaffrey, but I know he's going to decline this year. So, part of your mindset should be, yes, I want to anchor my team with an ace running back that's going to be in a minimal committee, but you also want to make sure that you anchor yourself with an ace wide receiver 1 as well in the first 4 rounds, okay? So robust RB is still a solid strategy, but now we can start seeing some value at some running backs a little bit later on. But running back is on my mind in the first round for sure, 100%. Make sure of that, okay? All right, so again, who's going to bust here? Round 1 in a nutshell. we're going off on tangents. We're having a discussion. We're deep diving here. And again, if you want direct access, join the Patreon group, patreon.com/FFcounselor. Secure the 16 rounds. And of course, make sure you guys join the Fantasy Sports Summit. Secure your ticket. I've linked it below. So busts here. I'm gonna go CeeDee Lamb is gonna decline, but I think he'll be safe if healthy. Jefferson, I think, could trend upwards. McCaffrey's definitely coming down. Chase trending upwards. I think Tyreek Hill's trending down. Amon is going to be safe for neutral, but diluted target share. I think Breece Hall, is going to have that boom upside, barring any type of injury. We've got to see who's at quarterback this year. If Rodgers is back, healthy, good to go. A.J. Brown will be safe and steady. I would say, if anything, he's going to be on par to better than last year. I think Hurts takes a step up, if anything, this year to bounce back. Byjan, I like. I mean, he's already come out and said he wants a 2,000-yard, I think it was a rushing season. He wants to destroy it this year. And mind you, he can. He was hindered completely by Arthur Smith last year. This is a guy that should have got all the volume, and it was completely diluted with bottom feeders like Algier and bottom feeders like Cordell Patterson, who had no business touching the ball. This guy was a first overall pick, for the team, and should have absolutely crushed it. Still finished ninth, and he's actually ninth. Go figure that, right? Overall. Finished ninth amongst running backs either way. But now he's sitting, number 3? Yeah, number 3 amongst running backs, okay? And Garrett Wilson, I definitely see the ceiling here. If you want him, you're going to have to get him late first round. And again, the ceiling is there, man. If Aaron Rodgers is back, I mean, this guy has not scratched the surface. Had a safe year last year with crappy quarterback play. Sky's the limit. I think Puka is going to be great. DJ Moore, I'm not as excited about. Jahmyr Gibbs here at 13, first-round pick. Taylor will be a first-round pick. Gibbs, I love. I love Gibbs, but I just think with the same coaching, the same infrastructure there, Montgomery's going to be a thorn bar. If Montgomery gets hurt, sky's the limit. But they're still going to be running a committee. Montgomery's going to be the first person you're going to see on the field, and that bothers me. It bothers me that there's going to be a guy who's going to be coming out on the field on the first down when I'm drafting a first-round pick in Jahmyr Gibbs. That's the issue I'm having right now with Jahmyr Gibbs, okay? So you guys heard it from me, man. Christian McCaffrey, not doing it. Tyreek Hill, not doing it. CeeDee Lamb, definitely not doing it. And again, it's DJ Moore, definitely not doing it. He's never been outstanding when you're looking at these top 12, 13, 14 picks. So ultimately, guys, for the most part, you got to get those consistent players. And the ones listed here have been consistent, but that was based on last year. I like the whole picture, right? And, what goes up must come down. Look at trends, look at everything. But I'm going to have it all laid out on a silver platter for you. So you have all the answers laid out. I've done the research. I live and breathe this in the 16-round draft. So just pre-order it below or head on over to thefantasyfootballaccounts.com. Smash thumbs up, guys. And, of course, guys, very, very important, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys think. I want to make it interactive. Let me know what you guys think. Who's going to bust in round 1? Appreciate you guys. Subscribe. Going to keep the content rolling. Have a great weekend in the off season. I'm out.